Hey guys, and welcome back to another talk video. That's right, I've got my uniform hanging up on the back of my chair because I'm lazy as shit. I had a shift this morning, so came back, put it up there, carried on with my day. Just chilling, you know what I mean? But today we are talking about games, consoles, and future stuff. Got a whole list of things down here that I want to talk about real quick. I'm not going to stay long, just going to give a real quick talk, and if you've got any questions, leave comments down below and I'll try and answer them or send you to places that have answers as best I can. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is Battlefield 1, people. The open beta, I mean, I've got the thing right here. The open beta came out. I'm a Battlefield insider, so I got to play it a day early. So I've been playing it for a couple of days now, not just the one. Not just today, but I played it yesterday as well. So 2 days worth of playtime. And I have to say, it's really fun. It is fun. I mean, I've never really been a big Battlefield person. I've always been Call of Duty, as most FPS players are. Everyone responds to Call of Duty players, and everyone uses Call of Duty as a guide to when they talk about shooting games. Battlefield 1 is really different, really fun. The first fundamental change between COD and Battlefield is the fact that the maps are so much bigger. People aren't huge. I find when you're playing COD that the people you're shooting are huge targets because they're right up in your face. Everything's so close, you try pow. Whereas Battlefield, you've got, because it's such a vast map, sometimes you're a really small target running off in the distance, and you're sat there with your marksman's rifle out, and you just headshots for days. I'm not very good at Battlefield. I'm not going to say that I am, but I do think it is a really fun time, as long as you're playing with other people that you know or that you've made friends through the game. Because running around by yourself is not a fun time. Because sometimes I found in the first couple of games when I didn't have anyone that I was specifically playing with, that when you're running around by yourself, you can often run around to parts of the map and you're running for ages and there's literally no one around, and that can get quite boring. And then out of nowhere, marksman shot, headshot, you're dead. So always make sure you're playing with friends. Make a few friends. Get on Battlefield 1 with some friends. That was one thing that really made things fun. I mean, there was so many capture points, like in Call of Duty Hardpoint, you got like 3. Well, not 3. Domination, you got 3. Hardpoint, you got 1. And it changes. But in Battlefield 1, there was like A through G domination spots. There was just so many. The map was huge. You got to try and take control of them all. There's planes, there's tanks, there's horses. I mean, that was cool. Riding into battle across the desert on a horse with a rifle in hand doesn't get much better than that. Next game. So I am planning on getting that, by the way. So you might see some content for that game here when it does get released in October. Next game I want to speak to you about is Hitman. Now, I don't think I'm going to personally be getting Hitman, but I do know that Hitman is a big franchise, and not everyone, but a lot of people like Hitman. And that's now got a physical release date. So IO Interactive has announced that the physical copy will actually have a release date now of January 31st, 2017. So you've got to wait until the beginning of next year. But I mean, January sales will have just finished, I suppose, unfortunately. But yeah, it'll be coming out and it'll cost around £50. I mean, that's not bad. If you're playing it on PC, it'll be £40, so it's £10 cheaper. I don't know why, but it just is. But yeah, I mean, I did play one Hitman game a long time ago. Probably like the first 1 or 2, I think, if I was alive at that point. But no, I was playing one and it was fun. It was stealthy, but I just don't think the Hitman series is for me. If you guys specifically request Hitman, I may get it once it's a bit cheaper, but if you're not bothered, I'm not bothered. I'm not too worried about getting this game. So yeah, that's that for Hitman. Okay, so one thing that's really playing on my mind right now is, should I invest once again in Nintendo? we're moving away from the games now. We had two games highlights. Now we're moving back onto the consoles. So Nintendo, I mean, what I've had from Nintendo, I've had like the Game Boy Advance, I've had the Game Boy Advance Mini, the Game Boy Advance SP, a DS, a 2DS, a DS, a 2DS, a DSi. I've used all of these and they've all been great. I did have a Nintendo Wii, but unfortunately I got rid of it because there was just not enough need for it. I mean, someone in my position where I'm not surrounded by loads of family anymore, so there's not really family game days, don't really have that many people over. I feel like Nintendo consoles were not, like the first one, the Nintendo Wii, wasn't really focused for single player games and gaming in particular. I feel like it was more of a family, multiple people playing at the same time, fun, light-hearted games, and that sells really well for people with lots of friends and that live with their family. That's great, but for me it wasn't realistic, so I did eventually get rid of it. But with the new announcement of Zelda, was it Breath of the Wilds, that game looks amazing, and I've always loved, like, my top Nintendo things, it's obviously been Zelda, Pokemon, probably Mario. I always used to play like the Mario Party games, which is then where the multiple friends thing comes in. But no, I do like Nintendo games, and I think that they're in-house games, like those brands pretty much, Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda, the ones that they do themselves, no third party, I think always run really well and always work really well. I mean, there's just nothing quite like playing a Zelda game, for me. Pokemon and Zelda, every time. I mean, Pokemon, people argue is the same game over and over and over again, and arguably it is, but I love it. I don't know what it is about Pokemon, that they can just rehash the same shit, and I'll still buy it, and I'll still play it. But yeah, that's Pokemon is just that thing for me where I'll always buy Pokemon until I die or grow out of it. But hey, but Zelda Breath of the Wild looks amazing. They've got now a temperature scale, they've got a noise meter, you can climb almost anything, you can surf on your shield, that's pretty cool. But no, it's got so much more intricate, and it's more of an open world thing instead of just, you go on this path, and you do this, and you get this. It's more of an open world, and I do like open world games, and I do like Zelda, but I'm thinking, do I get it on a lower gen console, say like the Wii U, or do I spring for the NX? Now the NX is having loads of rumours recently. I've got a few of them here. So they're thinking at the moment, everyone's thinking, everyone's formulating, everyone's got theories. But the idea at the moment is that there is a TV dock stand, and it will be a small portable thing that you can plug into a TV stand, which then ports it up to your television to make it much bigger, much better, much faster, that sort of thing. So it's said to have that, but it's meant to be essentially a mobile sort of device, so sort of like the Wii U already. There is a section that says that there's detachable controllers now, so kind of like Wii controllers. Like this is how I'm picturing this. You've got the Wii U, but with controllers you can pull off, like the Wii, with the portability of a 3DS, but the upscaling of a console. So I feel like they've just mashed everything together to make this NX, and I mean, it does sound good, I'm not gonna lie, it does sound good. I've got a small little thing, I can rip off the controllers and share them with, instead of like passing the thing over to play games, we could potentially rip off the controller, not rip off, but detach the controllers, insert that into the TV, have the two separate controllers, and it'll be like a Wii, or I can take that out, put them in, and I've got myself like a DS. If there's games that support touchscreen, maybe I can just rip off the controllers and use it like an iPad or something. So it just feels like it's a mash of everything. However, this doesn't always work. This doesn't always work the way that developers and people make it. And I know I said this was going to be a short video, but I'm kind of rambling on this. But this NX problem, I don't know what to do with it, because I'm thinking of getting it for Zelda. Depends on the price point, I would imagine, for the unit and for the old unit, and whether the new unit has enough going for it, basically. If it doesn't have enough going for it, I'll get a Wii U probably on the cheap, maybe in January sales, or coming up, yeah, probably in January sales, and wait, or maybe next year's January sales or Christmas sales, waiting for that Zelda game to be released. Moving on from the Wii U, World of Warcraft. As a lot of you know, I've recently been playing World of Warcraft. I've only got a trial account. I'm not paying for anything yet. It's like, what is it, £10 a month? But apparently right now, if you're not playing it and you were considering playing it, the new update World of Warcraft Legion is apparently the best time to get into World of Warcraft, because there's a lot of free stuff that they're now giving away, and there's a lot of what was it? There is a lot. I can't find the notes I made for it. But yeah, people are leveling up quicker. People are being given more tips, better stuff, more advantages, and there's just a lot more in your favor if you start now and you pay now and you start playing properly. There's just so many more advantages to it. There's yeah, lots of stuff. I've literally just lost the whole section that I had written about this. But apparently with the new Legion, the max level has already been reached. It took someone 5.5 hours of solid gameplay and solid grinding to reach level 110, which is the level cap. So as you can see, 5.5 hours, if you are a dedicated gamer or a hardcore gamer, you can reach the max level in 5.5 hours, which is probably a lot less than what it was with the old system compared to the new system. So yeah, that is crazy. So it's a Twitch streamer called Fragnance. He claims he's reached level 110 in 5 hours and 28 minutes with the new Demon Hunter class. Because that's what it is, there's a new class with new abilities, and apparently they're OP. So yeah, if you are hoping to get the game, maybe the Demon Hunter class would be right for you, as it'll be untold glory and stuffs like that. That's all I really have time for today. We're talking about 2 to 3 games. We talked about the console war going on in my head. Should I get the NX? Should I not? If you have any comments on my predicament, please do leave them in the comments down below. I will keep you updated on this internal battle, especially once Pokemon comes out and I have a bit more information on the NX, because hopefully we'll know a bit more in a couple of months' time. There is a event by Nintendo coming up very shortly, I believe, which means we may find out. Yes, Nintendo Direct, I believe. Was it today? No, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow. So yes, there's a Nintendo Direct coming up tomorrow, which will normally give us a glimpse of what's happening in the future. Yeah, apparently here it's been fairly silent after going all in on Zelda Breath of the Wild. I got that right. But yeah, apparently it's going to focus much on their 3DS games that are coming out soon. So if you're interested in 3DS and 3DS games, do go check out Nintendo Direct and watch all that stuff on YouTube and their website. I'm sure there'll be a link there. Yeah. Hopefully they'll talk about the NX a little bit more and I'll have a little bit more information to share with you guys. But until that time, if you've liked this sort of thing where I have a more of a directive, please let me know. Smash that like button, that'll be a great help. If you're new around here, you can always smash that subscribe button. It really means a lot. It helps to know that I'm getting out to more and more people. And until next time, I will see you later, when hopefully I have some more news to share about all the new up and coming things. See you later.